No, that was nice to get to see a Reds win in person, because I was on a long streak of losses. I think I was probably up to 4, maybe 5 games that I had attended in a row that
you were marked, because if they would have lost that game, you weren't allowed.
When they brought Emilio Pagan in, I turned to the lady next to me. I said, "Now every time I watch him, he gives it up. But then, I'll check back and he'll be leading. He'll be leading in saves." And she's like, "Well, then look away, don't watch." But no, 6 home runs total for the game, and there was some small ball played, and we did not come anywhere close to getting pizza with the 11 strikeouts.
Okay.
But then I saw last night Tyler to get the 11 strikeout.
Yes.
It was a challenge by Tyler Stevenson.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
And so they were at 10, and he challenged it, and that got everybody pizza, and the whole place went nuts.
Said everybody loves Tyler.
Yeah, said he did it for the people. So
Well, it's always nice when you get pizza.
absolutely,
Do they still give away conies too, or is it just pizza nowadays?
it's just pizza. But then I guess they also have a promo where if they have a Chick-fil-A inning, and if the Reds hit a home run in the inning, then you can redeem it for a free sandwich or something. So
Interesting.
that didn't happen. We didn't get a
You can
home run.
redeem it on Sundays.
There you go.
All right. So this week, let's see. All right. So welcome back. We got episode 4 this week. We're going to be talking about swagger without selfishness, talking about chatter on the field, having some confidence, being a leader, but yet not being that guy that no one really wants on their team. So taking a look at how that goes. We're going to talk about some of the best talkers that George played with, and some things like that. First of all, let's kick off with George's player pick this week. Who's your player pick this week, buddy?
Here we go. I usually don't look at pitching, but I really feel bad for this guy. At one time, you had to get 300 wins, you're a shoe-in. You had to get 500 home runs, you're a shoe-in. But this guy's on the borderline, and I don't know, because he played so many years, but I still feel he should be in. Tommy John. Tommy John had 288 wins, and nobody really talks about him. I think he's up for the veteran committee sometime this year, and he was a 4-time All-Star, and he had a 3.34 average as pitching. But today's game, that's gonna get you $30 million at least. He had pitched over 4,700 innings, had over 2,000 strikeouts. He wasn't a strikeout pitcher, but he was a ground ball pitcher, sinker slider. I remember playing against him with the Dodgers. Man, he was a great competitor, and I think he's the only guy who has a surgery named after him without having a MD.
Yeah, I think if you get your own surgery, you ought to be.
Well, it's called the Hall of Fame. What's more famous than,
I know.
I was say everybody knows the surgery more than they know the guy. In fact, it cracks me up. Sometimes you'll talk about it, and people will be like, "He's a real guy."
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I'm blown away at how many of these 13-year-olds on my team don't know guys from like even 5 years ago. So yeah, bless their hearts. Tommy John, he's just surgery now.
Right. But that guy, that surgery, I don't know how many years it put on his career, but he's, like say, become famous because of that surgery.
I believe he had that surgery in 75 and then played until 89. So,
Wow.
he had a 26-year-long career. That's longevity.
I know.
So.
But some people feel that it's compiling. I just felt you able to go out there and put the numbers together. You have that durability to still go out there.
I say that's still difficult to do over a long period of time. How many other 46-year-olds are still playing? So,
Right.
I don't know. Something to consider for sure.
Yeah, that was something I always remembered about Nolan Ryan is he just seemed to always be playing. Like he just played for a long, long time.
Yeah, too long. No, not too long. I'm just glad that he decided to go back to the American League. With Houston and him and J.R. Richards, you didn't really want to go in there. You can end up being at least 0 for 8 the first 2 games, but we call it a hard 0 for 8. Like 5 or 6 strikeouts. But if you make contact, but it's okay.
Well, let's talk about here a little bit. I did a little bit of research heading in here on some of the best talkers in baseball. You know, usually when you think about talkers, you hear about a lot of basketball guys. You hear about like Larry Bird, one of the greatest
Magic
talkers
Johnson.
of all time. Yeah. And but you don't really hear about a lot of them in baseball all that much. You hear about guys like Billy Martin and, you know, guys who are managers who are big on running
Earl
their mouths.
Weaver.
Earl Weaver,
Yeah.
But as far as players go, I know the big one you're going to talk about, but like, who were some of the real talkers in the days when you were playing?
Of course, Pete Rose was the real talker, but he was, say for instance, after he makes an out, he would run right past the pitcher saying nothing. And one day he said nothing to Nolan Ryan, and Joe said, "Don't get him riled up. You know, I got a hit." But the one guy that really I didn't like being at first base because he'd talk your ear off, Will Clark. I'm like, man, we're here to play the game, and you just talk, hey, man, you signed this year, and it's a great year you had. Like, I got to get to second base. I'm getting dizzy over here.
Well, you know, and you hear so much about guys like Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, Reggie.
Somebody who really
Reggie.
Do a lot of smack talking.
See, Will Clark talked a lot in the game,
Yeah.
but Reggie, he talked a lot to the reporters.
Is that what it was?
But the thing about Reggie, he backed it up.
Yeah.
For instance, just like Muhammad Ali when he was Cassius Clay, you know, I said, I hope he gets beat. Because this guy's bragging all the time. But after he started winning, I said, I'm on his side. He's backing up what he says.
Yeah.
And that's what I look at it. Are they going to prove what they were talking about? And like I say, Reggie Jackson, he got a lot of publicity from it, and it brought people into the game.
Well, I remember I had a coach one time who used to say, if you're going to brag, you got to bring it.
Yeah.
That's if you don't bring it, then it's just bragging and nobody cares.
I remember counting Montefusco. I don't know if I know it was early in his career. So they were coming to Cincinnati. He said, yeah, I'm going to strike Johnny Bench out 3 or 4 times and all these things they're going to do. And it's a hype. And I don't know if he really believed it, but I know it got Johnny up. I think Johnny hit 2 home runs that inning. I mean, that game.
So you finished the season last year, exhausted from all the travel and the tournaments, and you tossed your gear in a bag where it's been sitting all winter. Now you're ready for another year, but your favorite glove that fits just right is an error waiting to happen. The leather's dry, the laces are brittle, and this year you're on a new team with new colors, and it sure would be cool if it matched. Well, wouldn't it be great if you had a glove guy who could help you out with that? You do. His name is Ethan, and he owns Glovehound Baseball Glove Repair Shop in Fairfield, Ohio. Just contact him at glovehound.com and upload pictures of your glove. He'll give you a call back to talk it over, and then you can send it in for a repair, relace, recondition, whatever you need. If you're in the area, you can even just stop by the shop. That way you don't have to bother with shipping, and a lot of times he can even fix it while you wait. Rawlings, Wilson, Mizuno, All-Star, Nakona, he's seen them all, and he's helped players at all levels, from beginners to pros. Last year he worked on a glove that Jose Trevino used in the World Series, and he can help you too. You can find Glovehound on Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at glovehound.com. You're only going to get busier, so reach out today and give your glove the love it deserves at Glovehound. Well, yeah, I mean, that would be kind of the thing. And you get a lot of, I mean, you would think there'd be a fair amount of talking smack on the ball field because everybody can hear everybody all the time. It's not like you're running up and down the basketball court with all kind of commotion going on. It's like, you know, it's just quiet for a lot of the
But
time.
in basketball now, it's called taunting. You don't taunt him. He's very sensitive. Don't say anything that he doesn't like. But in baseball, you hear it a lot with the batter to the catcher. And the primary one went back early in probably the 70s. I remember Darrell Evans hit a home run. That was his rookie year. So the freehand said, hey, where do you want to get hit? What do you mean get hit? I mean, where do you want to get hit? Because you're going to get hit. I said, okay, hit me in the leg.
So I think one of the best trash talkers of all time, you got to give it to Ham Porter from The Sandlot.
Yeah.
And his scene when he's taunting the guy at bat.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is that was one thing I loved to do as a catcher was just always messing with the batters and talking to the batters. Was there a catcher that you can remember who was always messing with batters?
Manny Sangan. He was always talking, but thing is I couldn't understand what he was saying, but Manny was always talking. But I try to use psychology, so when I go up to the plate, I would speak to the catcher, speak to the umpire, and make them feel that it doesn't bother me hearing that talk. But then one game, Yeager was playing the Dodgers, and I'm focusing on, I think the bases were loaded. I'm focusing on, gotta get a hit. And then he said, let's get a double play. And now that becomes my focus. Don't hit into a double play. But John Stern was another guy who really talked, because him and David Concepcion did not get along.
Oh, really?
But John, I remember he was talking, and then the pitcher's throwing a pitch. I had 2 strikes, and I said, I got this one. And I hit a ball off the right field wall, and he stood up, like, pointed to me like, we're going to hit you in the head next time. I said, I just said I got it. This is my pitch.
That's funny. Yeah, so, I mean, when you don't want to, I don't know, it's kind of a strange balance, because you want to be self-aware, have some humility, and realize that, you got a job to do. But then at the same time, confidence is important. And so how do you strike that balance of having that competitive edge, trying to get that competitive edge on the guy you're facing? I mean, you spent a lot of time thinking about this from a batter's perspective. How do you get the competitive edge on the pitcher? I know that, some of your approach being step in, step out, that kind of thing. But, how important is it to have that competitive edge against?
But the key word in that question is getting the edge. What can you do to get the edge, but not get off balances?
Right. Yeah.
So what you're doing, you got to be able to be comfortable in doing it. So stepping in and stepping out worked for me. For other guys, it may not help. But I knew it's going to bother that pitcher, make him change what he wants to throw. So he wants to go out there and really make you look bad. He may want to throw you a changeup or curveball, but now you step in and step out. Oh, I can see him out there. He doesn't know that I'm watching his mannerism. He think I'm looking straight down in the ground. And so now he's going to throw me his best fastball. But I know that the harder you try to throw, the more velocity you're going to lose. So, but I'm waiting for that fastball. So I'm already knowing that what I'm trying to accomplish. And more times than not, it works. There's certain guys like Don Sutton or Ferguson Jenkins that, I'm ready when you're ready. I said, that's not even bothering these guys.
That was, in my little mini segment of, I heard Pete say this on Facebook this week. You came up in my Facebook feed. Pete was talking about philosophy of hitting and talking to a bunch of kids. I think he was on Baseball Bunch or something, talking to a bunch of kids. And he was saying, the thing is, I'm always looking for the fastball because everything else is going to be slower or move more or do whatever. But if I'm looking for anything slower, that fastball is going to go right by me. So I'm always looking for the fastball, And so you were talking about, I'm up here I'm trying to get this fastball from him. One of the things that I think must have been exhausting for opposing pitchers facing Big Red Machine was you got one pitcher has to face all the guys, and each one of those guys has a different, that they're coming up there trying to get that edge on him. Each one of those guys has a different way of doing it.
They talk about feeding off of one another because we're different type of hitters. I always looking at balance and positioning or protection more so. So in that lineup, we had a great balance, and I look at speed, power, speed. So I always tell people that speed sets up power. So how does speed set up power? Well, I'm a fastball hitter. Johnny and Tony are fastball hitters. You have a Morgan or Griffey on base, the catcher's thinking fastball. He doesn't want to get embarrassed by the guy stealing on it, but he's really stealing on the pitcher's move.
Right. Yeah.
So knowing that Joe has the potential to steal, they're going to give me a fastball. So why go up there looking for something else? Number one is why take that pitch? A lot of guys take it, so I'm taking it so the guy can steal. Now, to this day, I remember Joe getting upset with me because he was into a slide, and the guy threw me a fastball, and I hit it out of the ballpark. And Joe said, "Why didn't you let that go?" I said, "Didn't you see how far it went?" Man, I had a stolen base.
So what was different about your approach to getting a competitive edge versus somebody like Tony?
Well, Tony was quiet, but his reputation, he was quiet, but whatever, it's like way back when E.F. Hutton said, whatever he says, everybody's quiet, but whatever Tony says, they're listening to it. They respected it. He's not talking just to talk. Mm-hmm. He just said, hey, I remember Rose and Joe Morgan, hey, man, I'm hitting 340, 350. And Tony like, hey, I'm big dog. I drive you guys in. We know when if I don't drive you in. So they said, yeah, that's true.
That's cool. That's cool. So what are the differences between being a leader and just being a loudmouth?
Emptiness. I feel you're a loudmouth here is just emptiness. It's just talking to be heard, but there's not that any substance that's there. But being a leader, you know that, okay, not only lead by what you verbalize, but how you go out there and do it. And it's back to the fact that you can talk a good game, but let's see you can play a good game. In Joe Morgan's case, it's not if we're not playing well, it's not, come on, you guys, let's go. It's hey, we're better than this. Mm-hmm. We got to go out there and play like we know we can play.
To be a good leader, it requires that example. Mm-hmm. And that's something I'd watch that happen on different teams I played with. Oftentimes it was the coach trying to emphasize his son as the leader, but if his son wasn't any good, then he didn't have any respect.
The purpose.
Yeah, and the intentions were there. It just the physicality to back that up wasn't. And a lot of times you end up following the best player just because you're trying to get better and emulate them. But I think it kind of goes along with coaching as well. You can tell someone what to do, but that's not as effective as showing them what to do. I think Rick did a really great job of that in his lessons because he could demonstrate everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Right.
It wasn't just, well, I'm going to tell you to do this. It's like, no, I'm going to show you how to do this. And that made it so much more enjoyable to work with him versus working with some big overweight guy who claims he knows what he's talking about and just tells you what to do. And
that guy talked about conditioning.
Yeah, yes, exactly. The overweight conditioning coach. It's like, what are you talking about? I
often wonder how Tommy Lasorda got away with stuff like
that.
No,
I was going to mention Tommy Lasorda, but this guy, but he learned it's not saying things that really motivate these guys. The best one. So we're in Japan, and the all-star team playing against the Japanese all-star team. So Tom Lasorda came to me. I know he went to Dave Parker and a couple other guys. If you get the MVP, you're going to get a brand new car. So right away, he's like, yeah, I'm going to get the MVP. I want a brand new car. But that was not true. He fabricated it. So after I won the MVP, so the gates in center field opened up. So I'm thinking a car's coming out, a Toyota's coming for me. No, I got a year's supply of orange soda. Then he said, "Yo, that's the way they are. They go back on their word."
Oh my gosh!
But he makes it so humorous.
Yeah, he was a funny guy.
That's funny, but yeah, I mean. Everybody's more interested in taking advice and direction from the really buff strength and conditioning coach. It's kind of that proof that they know what they're doing. And then the flip side of that is like you said, the loudmouth. Just every team's got the yapper because you just do. And in my experience, he's not usually one of the better kids on the team. And it's like, something doesn't go well, and he's right in your, come on, yeah. And it's like, give me it, let me process this, right. Man. He's just there is a line between too much noise and all that. And then when you're down by a ton of runs, I was on several teams that did this. You're down by a ton of runs, and the dugout's cheering, getting loud, and it's like, no, read the room. Like we're not. We didn't earn the right to be all loud and crazy right now. Like let's settle down and work our way back.
That's a certain demeanor. When you're not winning, I mean, the other day, someone, it was like 9-2, and the team that's losing got a home run. They're still celebrating.
Yeah.
I said, you're still down 6 runs.
Yeah.
There's a time to celebrate. You tie the ball game, you go ahead, but you're still celebrating. You're down 6 runs.
But yeah, and let's weigh in on something here. Team cheering.
Oh, jeez.
What are your thoughts, Ethan, on team cheering?
Personally, this is a personality thing. I was not a fan. I'm much more come in there, do your job, let the results speak for themselves. That's it. Now, that being said, for certain, it really depends on the team, because certain chemistries just, do better with that kind of energy. But there's, especially in high school or college, you get that kind of creative cheering, and sometimes that could be a real momentum thing. Like every time in high school, a pitcher would try to go to pick off one of our runners. We'd say never twice, and then he'd do it again, and we'd say, well, never 3 times. And so we were always barking. And then I just heard one on Instagram, I think it was. He talked about coach said his team was being too loud, and the other team complained about it, and so he had to quiet them down. So then what they did was, when their guy got up to bat, one of the kids took 2 bats and put his arms up like they do in golf and said, shh. And then they got too quiet.
Right.
And then as soon as something happened, they golf clapped.
Oh, God.
So there's creative ways to go about that. And so you don't want to put a damper on the camaraderie, but I also really hate when it draws the attention away from the game, I guess would be my.
Right. It's getting one good example is we were playing the Pirates in 1979. So I thought it was unprofessional, but it did happen. So they're playing, We Are Family, and so they actually had some of the wives. They were on the dugout dancing, and I liked the music, but we were losing at the time. But I didn't think that was professional. But the other one, with these, you find it a lot when you're these younger kids. They have these chants going on, and sometimes that guy is there mainly to start the chant, because he's not doing anything, but he's doing the chant.
It's always the yapper that starts the chant.
Right.
My thoughts on team cheering are, it drives me crazy as a fan, but at the same time, if it's a way that you can achieve unity on your team, then I'm not gonna bag on you for it. I think that if it's something that you're doing because you're not really thinking about it, you're not really into it, and you're just making noise, okay. But if it brings your team together and brings some unity, especially if you're in a rally or something like that, and it's really, creating unity, anything you can do to create unity on your bench is a good thing.
Yeah, if it's positive and creating unity. But the other one that I guess I don't like is that, say a guy strikes out or make an error to give him a high five. What? Why are you celebrating?
Yeah,
I see that a lot in tennis. In doubles, your partner miss a shot and you give him a high five. You don't deserve a high five.
I got 2 things on that. One, team cheering, it should always be positive towards your own team, not negative towards the other team.
Yeah.
But second, along what you're saying, George, it doesn't need to be delusional. So we had lost a game really, really bad, and a kid goes, "Oh, that was a great game." It's like, no, it wasn't. You don't have to be mad and upset about it, but don't pretend like it wasn't bad.
No, but when you're the younger kids, they after the game they're shaking one another's hand to give them a high five, and you just got beaten down 10-0 or 11-0, and it's a nice game. That's not a nice game. I'll show you a nice game next time.
Well, and one of the rules that I've always kind of held for myself, in my sort of collection of rules that I live by here, is one that says confidence allows you to be selfless, and this is something that I learned early on. And the best teammate is somebody who is not in it for himself, but he's in it for his team, where she's in it
Right.
for her team.
Not I.
Right. So good teams require selflessness.
Great.
And you can't do that if you're not confident. Because if you are fearful or you are timid, you're going to be operating from a position of fear. You're going to be operating from a position of, I'm trying not to get yelled at, trying not to make mistakes. I'm trying not to. And so you're not operating from a situation where, okay, this is what I'm going to aim to do when I go up there. And this is what I know I can do. This is what I did last time. It didn't work out last time, but I made an adjustment. This is what I'm going to do this time. You know, there's a confidence. I'm here to take care of business and do the job. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's important to build that confidence into players. And if it spills over into a little yapping, well, you know, I'm going to put up with that a little bit because I want them to have that confidence, because confidence allows you to be selfless. Now, the difference between, we talked a minute ago about the difference between being a leader and a loudmouth. In my opinion, the difference between leader and a loudmouth is selflessness. If you are in it for you, you're a loudmouth. If you're in it to try and lift your team and build your team up, you're a leader. And the difference in there is confidence a lot of times.
Well, the word balance is very important, because you knowing what to say and when to say it. And you don't have to say a lot.
Yeah.
So it's back to Pete Rose, you know, say, hey, let's go and have a good day. But you have a guy, or say a pitcher, and he said, come on, we need to score some runs. Okay. So now the previous time he pitched, say I got thrown at. So now he want me to support him, but he didn't back me up.
Yeah, yeah.
So some of those things enter into it, but you have, like say a Rose or a Bench or a Perez, who's a quiet leader. But we knew that he's going to do it. In a clutch situation, he's going to do it. And for me, I tried to follow his footstep. I want to be in a situation that I'm going to get that clutch hit, or believing I can do it. So it's not that emptiness. And like I say, back to being a loudmouth, you're just talking and you're trying to find a place on the team, add value to yourself to be on that team. But you look at, hey, why is this guy talking? He's not following up on the field what he needs to do.
Yeah, Johnny was sort of just known for kind of being quiet about it, but yet just bringing it and getting it done. And being a good example.
Well, in Johnny's case, because Pete and Tony, he was their offensive leader, and Johnny was more the leader for the pitchers. Mm-hmm. And I remember in spring training, I didn't see it, I heard about it. So Dungan, it's a young kid, you know, they known to have that great fastball. And so Johnny's calling a curveball, and Gully kept shaking him off. No. So then Johnny, okay, fastball. So Johnny caught the fastball barehanded.
Yeah.
Like, I'll show you your fastball.
That's pretty good. Yeah, this is, in my mind, it's the difference between being Willie Mays and being Willie Mays Hayes, right?
Yes.
Like
you're Willie, but not Mays.
There's a difference.
But you don't have any credentials. That's the thing, is you don't have any credentials to be talking. Why are you talking? You know, let your play do the talking. Like Griffey, you know, he, as a roommate, we would share things, because he said, hey, I'm gonna go out and go 5 for 5 today. I said, yeah, right. Then he did. Wow, I become a believer. I said, yeah. And then he goes 5 for 5. Yeah, that's my roomie. Yes.
Well, and I've seen some interviews where people are talking to Bo Jackson, and Bo Jackson very much, I'm just going to let my play do the talking for me. Like, I'm not, you know, he was kind of known for, you know, not being a talker, but yet, man, he just.
What was that guy, Boswell or what?
Oh,
Brian Boswell.
Yeah,
he was the loud.
No, yeah, he was. And then Bo said, you know, it's too much running to go around the guy. I'm going to run over him.
He's like, yeah, I just, you know, there was all that talk before that big game, and I wasn't going to talk. I just knew when I got out there, we were just going to take care of business.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was going to be. And, you know, Bo was like that. It was just results at every turn. And, you know, you get a guy like that who doesn't need to run his mouth, you know.
No. But the best one for me, though, Jim Rooker pitched for the Pirates, and Dreesen's hitting behind me. So Rook is a lefty, so I know it wasn't going to get much to hit. But at night, I was thinking, what can I do to irritate these guys to make them come at me? And so Jim Rooker walked me. I know he was pitching around me, so I flipped the bat in the air, and that's the time that you don't do things as such. So I'm going to do something out of the ordinary. I'm going to flip it in the air. So as I'm going down to first base, he actually walked down there with me. He said, don't ever do that again. I said, well, throw the ball over the plate. So that now I'm daring him to throw the ball over the plate. So now we go to Pittsburgh. His best pitch I knew was the changeup. So, and I love hitting the fastball. So he threw me a fastball right down the middle. I said, I don't want that. I know I can hit that. So then he threw me the changeup, hit a line drive, home run in the front row in Pittsburgh. And after the inning, he said, hey, good hitting. I said, you would come out better by walking me.
So that brings me to another question, which is there a time where it's just necessary to just provoke the other team because you're trying to get something to happen?
Well, it's back to Pete. He always provoked the guy because some of these guys, he can get in their head saying it's nothing. Then the next time up, say, I'll show him how hard I can throw harder than this. But Pete's gotten into their ears, and now they're gonna change their mindset changes. But there wasn't anybody else on that team that would say that. But Pete, we knew Pete was gonna say that, but he ran close to the guy to make sure he heard it.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, you got a guy like that who just, I'm gonna play third base, and I'm gonna be right in your teeth.
Mickey, I'm right here.
Oh my God.
Shake your hand.
Poor Mickey.
But I don't know who came up with that strategy because I didn't know about it, and I was startled because he's playing so close. What if the ball gets by him? Now I have to run all day. I said, please knock it down or catch it. I don't want to be running. If Mickey hit a high hopper over his head, I'm in the corner like Willie Wilson. Or when we play Kansas City, Kansas City and St. Louis, we always thought, keep them at a triple. Because you're not going to get them at a second. Keep them at a triple.
Right, yeah. And that's, that takes a lot of confidence to say.
It does.
I'm in the major
You're talking
league.
about swagger. Like, I'm in your face.
I'm going to play third base and stand next to the pitcher. Like, I mean, he was that close. It was crazy how close he was. And so, you look at some guys who would do stuff like that, and you're going, he doesn't have to say anything. What he's doing is speaking nice and loud. He's just saying.
But then Mickey comes up and whoa, what is going on here? And now he's more pull conscious. So I'm going, and takes the bunt away.
Yeah.
So it just changes the face of the game.
So, sometimes, what you do can do the talking for you.
Well, like Jim Bibby, he was like 6'6", and I said he should have been playing basketball, not his brother Henry. And so his one finger is bigger than two of mine together. So he put his finger in Griffey's chest and said, I'm going to hit you in the head, and then told me I'm going to hit you in the head. I said, oh, fine. In a sense, I said, if he hits Griffey, I knowing that he's going to throw at me. And I said, I don't know why Griffey's not in the lineup today. So Griffey wasn't in the lineup. Oh, no, is he going to hit me?
Oh, my God.
So they threw me a slider outside. I said, oh, he's not going to hit me. Then I said, okay, the next pitch, I hit a line drive with a center field wall. But it's like, that first pitch is like, I'm not going to take this for the team.
So, yeah, how does having that confidence of a player like that, like a Pete Rose, how does that build the rest of the team up? How does that help you to have more confidence in yourself by seeing it in other people?
Well, it's saying that, this is possible. Mm-hmm. We can do it. Mm-hmm. And there are times we're down a bunch of runs, we come back, and we know that one time we say we get that one hit, it's starting the ball rolling. And he said, come on now, here we go. But a lot of times he lead by example. And a guy maybe throwing very seldom against us, throwing a perfect game or no hitter. Pete said, hey, we got him now. And but you got to feel that too. But after he's done it for quite a few times, you're believing in that. And now it's a situation that we're down a run or so, and Tony has 2 strikes on him. Oh, he's going to bring it. He's going to bring that run in. And it just things like one thing that maybe happened. Joe Morgan gets on base, and I'm going to steal that base. And everybody know it, but he knows that he can do it. That's the key thing, being able to steal a base when everybody know you're going to go and steal it.
Yeah, they know you're going.
They know you're going.
Go anyway.
Right. And then that confidence in it. I go up there. It started with my brother, though. He said, RBIs, that's very important. So I really focus on driving in that run. I don't care what the count is. I was a better hitter with 2 strikes. But a lot of the announcers said, well, he's in the hole. No, I'm in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's important. You take a look at, one, especially if you're down. You guys, there were a lot of games I went back and watched during the machine era. There a lot of games where you guys would be down, a good handful of runs, and it just never seemed to bother anybody. It's like,
it sounds like a play on words. I would say we're down in runs, but we're still the motivations. We're up in motivation. We're knowing that that, like I said before, that key hit, that key play is going to make a big difference.
And I think that confidence is really what makes that possible. There are a number of times, especially last year, I'm watching Reds games and I'm like, all right, we're 5th inning and there's no coming back. I'm just going to bed, and I would just shut it off and go to bed because like they're just not known for having a lot of fight in them, especially before, and especially before Tito got there. It was like, these guys, if they're down in the 5th, just go to bed because it's just not going to happen.
Right.
Now it's getting better. But you couldn't do that with the Big Red Machine because you just never knew what was going to spark it and make it happen.
But it becomes an individual commitment for a group effort. I knew what I could do. Everybody knew what they could do. And then I'm not going to go out there and try to steal a base or Griffin's not going to go out there and try to hit a home run. So we had a certain role, and we did it well. And the lowest average in the batting order was 295.
That's crazy.
And we had 9 hitters when Gullit was in the lineup. So the manager on the other team would go out there and said, and the pitcher said, I can get this guy. Yeah, but this is the second time around.
But does that also take some of the pressure off of each individual person, knowing that it doesn't all rely on you?
It takes the workload. You don't feel that the burden's on you to drive in that run, because we don't really like to use the word pressure. It's more of a challenge. Okay, I'm getting challenged here. They walk Morgan or walk Perez to get to me. That's a challenge. I said, all right. Like I'm licking my chops. I remember against the Cubs, I think first base was open, of course, and then they walked Perez to get to me. I couldn't wait to get up the guy to throw a ball forward. Today's game, this point over there. So when I got up to the plate, I knew I'm ready. And I was ready for that challenge. I ended up I hit a grand slam. So when I'm running around the bases, I give my coach high five, and I point to the manager. Yeah, applauded him. Thank you. Good job.
Level swing. Let it travel. Wait for your pitch. Be aggressive out there. It's no wonder young players get confused at the plate. What if your son or daughter could learn not only how to hit the ball, but also where to hit it, when to hit it there, and why? George Foster has played baseball at the very highest levels. He was the National League MVP when he hit 52 home runs and 149 RBIs in a single season. He led the major leagues in home runs twice and RBIs 3 times. He was a 5-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger, and he helped the Reds win back-to-back World Series. During his 15-year career, George developed a unique approach to hitting that made him one of the greatest hitters of all time, and now your favorite player can learn it too. That's right. Baseball legend George Foster is currently accepting new students. Learn the psychology of hitting, situational hitting, hitting for power, bunting, and more. Every team needs players who can hit, and George explains the game in a way that's easy to understand and exciting to learn. So check out GeorgeFosterBaseball.com to learn how you can apply for private lessons with a member of the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Spots are limited, and the roster will fill up fast, so don't wait. Apply at GeorgeFosterBaseball.com.
But that's what it. The reason I asked that is because you're looking at the Reds right now in 2026, and Ellie De La Cruz doesn't look so tense. He looks a lot more relaxed. He's okay with hitting that single up the middle to move.
Not hitting in the river.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't feel like he has to go deep every time. So as a result, his average is much higher, and his home runs are still right about the same.
He's more disciplined. There are balls that he's taking now that we're swinging at.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's not making nearly as many defensive errors. He's made a ton of progress in that area.
Not only, there's more throwing errors before. He would throw the ball in the dugout. I mean, the cameramen had to have helmets over there. But now he's starting to mature. But he has, this guy, as well as he's doing, he still hadn't reached that plateau, what he can do. It's going back to Reggie Smith as far as being a switch hitter, or Mickey Mantle, not to maybe Mickey Mantle, but being impactful from both sides.
Yeah.
It takes me back to a time I heard Barry Larkin talking about how he was kind of slacking at one point in time, and they called him after practice, and it was Dave Parker and Edie had to have the conversation with him and say, "Hey, come on, you got to pick it up." And he called him Pops.
That was mildly put.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
He called Parker, called him Pops, and he said the thing about Pops was he always just got it done.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
That guy, that leadership came from, really started from the Pirates. And it's not just verbal sometimes. You know, we'll bust you in your head. When Tim Foley came over, to me, that's when he become a player, because he said, "Hey, no shenanigans out here. Let's play the game. And if you want to deal with Dave or deal with Willie, you got to go through those guys if you're going to have these shenanigans. We want you over here to play to help the team win." But even with the Giants, with Willie Mays or Bobby Bonds, and maybe I didn't run out of ball, and he didn't say, "Come on, you got to hustle." Oh, you better than that. When he said you're better than that, you know that, oh, I'm not doing my job. But if you said you're not hustling, you come up, oh, well, my ankle, or I didn't get a good jump. I said, you're better than that. Yeah. It's letting you know you're not doing it, but complimenting you, knowing that you can do better.
But that leads me to one where that I have on my list here, which is don't make excuses. Don't make excuses.
I just say make adjustments, not excuses.
Yes. When strong leaders don't make excuses. If something went wrong, they eat it and they move on.
In Pete's case, he said, "Get them tomorrow."
Yeah.
Come on, keep your head up, get them tomorrow.
And if it was you, then you say, "Hey, that one's on me." I'll knock it down, and we'll.
But that part, that part I don't. When they say my bad, it's like, just go out and do it. You don't have to, announce it's your bad. We saw it. So what are you going to do to make that change? And that's the thing. It's all about learning. What can you do better the next time? And even though you went 4 for 4, 4 singles, could you have gotten a double in there? Did you stop at first base and figure out your batting average? You could have gotten to second base on that play. And now that become you're being selfish, because you're looking at, oh, I got my hit. Well, get to second base. Maybe the guy needed an RBI. Or when we're back to situational hitting, getting the guy over. You're a team player.
Yeah, and if you had hustled enough to make it to second base, you're in scoring position now.
Right.
You're not just sitting on base. And, that in a team where people actually get driven in, then that makes a difference.
Yeah. But then also knowing the situation, back to Willie Mays, he knowing that I can get a double here, but if I go to second, they're going to walk McCovey. So I'm going to stay at first base.
To be the stealing threat, yeah.
We're making sure that Willie get a chance to swing the bat.
Yeah, well, that makes a good point, too. So, yeah, not making excuses. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen, and you just you address it and you make adjustments and you move on. Nobody likes excuses. The other thing I have on here is don't complain. Mm-hmm. Ethan, you've run across this a number of times.
I just don't like complaining in general because, and even if you're complaining about something that was controllable, that's called an excuse. If you're complaining about something where you fell short, that's an excuse. If you're complaining and then complaining about something you can't control, it's just useless. It's just it's I don't know. It drives me nuts. And the number one is bad strike calls. Mm-hmm. And I guess now we're not going to have that as often in the big leagues because of the ABS, but you're going to have it in little leagues. And it's just you can't control it. And complaining it's so unproductive. It's so unproductive because all it does is it allows that moment to drag on rather than moving your focus to the next thing. And I know it happens, and it happens to everybody, and it's inevitable. And no amount of complaining is going to change that. So I don't know. I hate complaining in general.
But I like how you put it. If it's in your control, deal with it. If it's not, just let it go. Mm-hmm. But a lot of guys they want to pretend that I really it's something preventing me from doing this. But it was funny to me at the time, but it wasn't funny to Joe Morgan. So he came back to the duck. It was one of the few times I heard him complaining that, how can he throw me that pitch? How can he throw me a slider in that situation? And I'm standing next to him, and I said, he can throw you whatever you want. Then he said to me, I'm not talking to you. It's none of your business. But it's the first time I heard him complain about it. But so I go up there, and he throws this, okay, all right, I'm ready for that pitch the next time up. Like, get on base. And usually it maybe happened, no one's on base, because I told Griff, I had popped up to the catcher, and I said, Griff, get on base, man, because the ball seems so big as it's coming. He said, well, what are you talking about? You haven't hit the ball past the catcher yet. Then the next two times up, I hit home runs, but I said, come on, because I start to feel it.
Yeah. Well, and, you think about what you're saying and what that radiates beyond you to the rest of your team. So if you are speaking things that are confident, that's fine. If you're just complaining, oh, it's too hot or it's too cold or I don't like being here in the morning. I don't like being here in the whatever the thing is that you're complaining about. You complain about the coach, complain about your parents, complain about your whatever. All that does is it becomes contagious.
Yes.
Yes. If you are a leader on the team, what you say becomes contagious. Yeah. And that can either be good or bad. And you have the responsibility to realize that, what you say is going to catch on. So say good stuff. Yeah.
Johnny said something the other day at the induction. He said, if you don't fit in, you're out of here. And that happened. I remember a guy, last name, Vukovic, I forget his first name.
Oh, yeah.
So his average was under 200, but he was always questioning Ted Kaczewski. I don't think this is going to work. But how is it working for you now?
Wasn't he the guy that played third before Pete did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one, it's a funny one. It didn't happen. So the guy, they were one out. And I think a man on first and second, or maybe bases were loaded. So instead of him tagging third and throw to first to get 2 outs, he just threw to first base. He could have thrown home. So now the manager goes out and take out the pitcher. If I were the pitcher, I would have said, you should take him out. Why are you taking me out? Take him out. He doesn't know the score. He doesn't know how many outs there are.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, okay, let's say you disagree with something that the coach did. You disagree with who's playing where. You disagree with how the lineup is made, or you disagree with whatever. Guess what? He's the coach. He's going to do it. You're not. So complaining about it doesn't change anything. It just makes negativity contagious to your
the complaining doesn't change anything. But knowing if that coach keep doing it and they lose, like Rob Thompson, he's gone.
Oh, goodness.
But for me, I applaud that because I didn't like what they did to Castellano.
Yeah.
But the one other guy wanted to get fired, but they're playing too well with the Cardinals. Like, I want to get him out of there.
The other thing I have on my list that I think is a good leadership habit is welcoming accountability. To when somebody calls you to account on something, to say, you know what, you're right. I needed that. You know, you don't shy away from it just because they're calling it. Now, if they're being mean to you or they're just being shallow or being selfish or whatever, that's one thing. But that's not accountability. That's just somebody picking at you. What I'm talking about is your coach, your parent, your other teammates. There's, like when you were saying, we're better than this. We need to be, whatever. Okay, I'm going to accept that. I'm going to take it rather than just, oh yeah, whatever. Then you just getting all angry at it.
Right.
That doesn't
get defensive.
Help. Yeah. Welcome the accountability and show that it's okay that even strong players can be accountable.
It's that constructive criticism, knowing that it's there to help you, not to tear you down.
But accountability is how you remain confident without becoming arrogant. I mean, that's the number one defense against arrogance is that accountability.
And selfishness, yes. I think that, and you have to be willing to hear that. You have to be willing to have somebody say, hey, we need to be in this for the team. Come on. Or complaining ain't going to change it. Let's go. Come on. Let's get on.
This statement, I to this day, I don't understand it, but they're brainwashed to believe it. So I got to be perfect. I went 9 for 9. Now I'm 9 for 10. I don't know. I got to be perfect, but it maybe come from the parents or somebody in the family. I said, you're not going to be perfect. When you walked in here, if you wanted to be perfect, you already lost.
Yeah.
You already failed.
Yeah.
But you just go out there and play well and give your best.
I saw one of the best interactions that I've ever seen. It was I was online. I was watching. There's a guy, I believe his name is King Randall. It's King something. I think it's King Randall. He runs a program called X for Boys, and he works with young boys, teaches them how to be men. And one of the things he does is he coaches a baseball team. And he was talking, I think it was his son he was talking to. And his son was 7 years old, something like that, 8 years old. And he was having a hard time because they lost a big game. And he was kind of fighting the tears and having a hard time. And he was like, hey, he said, no, stop. He said, I want to see some snot now. I don't want to see that. He was just funny. He's like, let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. Okay. So did you did this well, you did this well, you did this well. You hit well today, you threw well today, you played multiple positions, you did everything you could do. And sometimes, you go out and you play a good game and you don't win.
Right.
And at that
that's
point,
going to happen.
You have to learn how to deal with this. And yeah, I know you wanted to go to the championship game. I know you wanted to do these things. That's disappointing. We're going to have to, we'll have to find a way to deal with that, but we're going to hold it together and we're going to deal with this like a man. And it was beautiful what he did. And he builds him up. You did this right, you did this right, you did this right, And then at some time he goes, and he said, let's talk about it. He said, did you always run the fastest you could go? No. Did you always?
Right.
No. Okay. So then there's room for improvement. You did a great job. I'm proud of you.
Can you do better?
There's room to improve. He said, and we still lost. And sometimes that happens. And what happens when we lose? And he, through his little sobs, he was so adorable. He's like, you still love me? And he's like, of course I do. I still love you. I still love you when we win. I still love you when we lose. That's the way it goes. He gives him a big hug and he's like, and then he did something that I thought was absolutely brilliant. He goes, you want to run it out? Let's run it out. All right, you and me. Come on. We're going to run a lap. And he took the kid and they ran a lap together and they worked it out while they ran a lap together. And I'm like, that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, because he not only gave positive reinforcement, he not only instilled confidence, but then he came back and he gave accountability, and then they worked it out together. And I thought, my gosh, that what a tremendous.
I like that because he wasn't judging the kid, because he was asking the kid, did you run it out? Did you do your best? It's not saying that you weren't hustling, you weren't doing this, so it wasn't a judgment.
Well, it put the emphasis on the behavior and not the kid. Yeah. I mean, that's
very good.
The amount of times that I see kids take on some sort of identity that somebody labels them with, rather than analyzing the behavior and how you can change that going forward,
Yeah. And I thought in the end, to run it out together, it was like,
It's leading by example.
it's symbolic. It's like, you're not alone. We're going to get through this, and we're going to do it together.
And plus the fact that I know the parents really get caught up in winning and losing, because I would ask them, how was the game? But now I'm saying, how did Mickey do? And because if I say, how did the game go? They talk, oh, we lost. I'm not talking about winning or losing. How did the kid do? Because that kid's going to go to, well, of course, get older and play on another team. So how is he taking it? And how did he perform?
So yeah, those are some things that I had on my list here. Good leadership habits. I think that if we can develop those kinds of things on our team, then we can have some confidence. And if your confidence spills over into some fun, and whether that's cheering or it's a little confidence, a little trash talk, a little bit here and there, as long as you're respectful, it's okay, fine. But I think that the biggest thing that we're after here, when we talk about swagger without selfishness, we're talking about bringing a confidence that builds up your team and that is contagious.
Unity
of positivity.
Right.
And then at that point in time, now you're getting somewhere, and you're not working against yourselves,
right?
While you're trying to play.
But I know it's a different age now as far as how the teams celebrate after a game. I feel sometimes it's over the top.
Yeah.
But I look at, okay, if you're the fourth outfielder and there's your chance to get that other outfielder injured so you can play. But they go a little bit too far, tearing the jersey off and grab them by the hair in the headlock. And no wonder these guys run away. But you go to watch a game in Japan or watch a game in Latin America, but I didn't know it in the beginning. They come there to party. It's every inning. Like here, we play music, during the break, but during the inning, you can't play it. But they're there to party all the time.
Yeah.
But it's a part of that swagger. Yeah. They come there to celebrate, and the game just happened to happen.
That's funny. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed our discussion on swagger without selfishness, a little bit of how to bring confidence to your team and build some unity and be good leaders. So thanks for joining us this week, and we'll be back next week with episode 5. We look forward to seeing you again real soon. Take care.